This is the voice in the wilderness of the people, coming to you in the great wind. This is a day that I has made. Let us rejoice. Let us be glad in it. I pray that I has blessed you and has kept you in good health with good strength. I pray he have answered. I pray that I had answered all your supplications that you have made to him, and that he is with you. He has assigned his holy watchers unto you to guide you and to protect you and to save you from all danger, from all accidents, and from all iniquity. My dear brothers and sisters, today I have a message for you. I have a message to bring to you today, and that message can be found in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, from verse 7. But I will begin with you today from the first chapter, chapter 1. Before I start to read, let me say this to you. This is a message to EZER-IAH. This is a message to all the brothers and sisters who are seeking IAH with their whole heart, their whole soul, and with all their strength. This is a message to my brothers and sisters who call upon the name of IAH, who keep his commandments, and who are hoping to receive all his promises. IAH has sent a message to you. The message is, Jacob's trouble has begun. The message is I-Cob's trouble, his correct name, I-Cob. His trouble has begun. Who is I-Cob? I-Cob is our father, the founding father of EZER-IAH. The one name IAH has changed to EZER-IAH. So now we, as their children, their descendants, their seeds, the message has come clear. The message is, our trouble has begun. My dear brothers and sisters, I will explain this as I go along. So I beg that you listen to the words that I will say to you. But I want you to remember this in your mind. Keep it in your head. The message is that I-Cob's trouble has begun. So I will go back to chapter 1 in verse 30, and I will begin to read. The word that came to Jeremiah from IAH, saying, speak the word of IAH to EZER-IAH. He said, write all the words that IAH will speak unto you in a book. IAH saying to Jeremiah, I want you to write down these words that I will speak to you. I want it to be written down in a book. Verse 3. For lo, the days come, says IAH, that IAH will bring again the captivity of his people, EZER-IAH and Judah. Says IAH, And I will cause them to return to the land that he gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. I have just told Jeremiah to write down these words. He just told Jeremiah that the day will come when he will bring his people that are in captivity, his people, EZER-IAH and Judah. He will bring them and return them to the land that he has given to their fathers. And we will possess it. Verse 4. And these are the words that I speak concerning EZER-IAH and concerning Judah. For thus says I, ye have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, not of peace. Ye have heard a voice of trembling and of fear. There is no peace. You're not hearing no peace. He says, ask now and see whether a man does travail with child. He asking, he said, look, for that cry, that voice he heard, that crying he have heard, that trembling, it's like a man giving birth to a baby. So he said, look, see if there is any man giving birth to babies. He says, wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins? He said he's seeing every man with his hands on his loins. In that day he's talking about to come. The men have their hands on their loins as women in childbirth. And all their faces are turned into paleness, sorrow, worry, stress. I is telling Jeremiah to write this down in a book for a time to come. You go to verse 7. Alas, for that day is great. Here the Most High is telling us that day when men will have their hands on their loins and crying like women that giving birth. Allah is saying to us that day is great. So that there is no other day like it. There have never been another day as great as that day. It is the time of Jacob's trouble. It is the time of our trouble. But we shall be saved out of it. My dear brothers and sisters, a lot of our brothers and sisters are getting confused with this passage. And I is explaining to us exactly what he is saying. He is explaining it as he speaks to Jeremiah. Our trouble that Ayah is speaking of right here in verse 7 is not trouble to befall us. It is our pain, our anguish, our suffering, our distress, our homelessness, our poverty, our hunger and thirst is to be removed from us, is to be replaced. It will be moved from us to another people. Our trouble will be moved from us to another people. And that's why he said, but we shall be saved from it. For it shall come to pass in that day, which is today, which is in our time. The message is that it is in our time. The message is that we are now in that time. The message is for you, EZER-IAH and Judea, to know it is for us. It shall come to pass in that day, says I of hosts, that I will break the yoke from our neck, and he will burst the bonds. I is saying here, he will break the yoke from our necks. He will remove this false slave mentality from us. He will remove from us the mental yoke, idol worship, the love of the enemy, the desire for vanity, the lust for all that is unclean. I will break that from our intellect. And he will burst the bond, that bond that we have formed with the enemy, that bond we have taken up to please the enemy, to work for the enemy, to make the enemy rich. That as we have something, we have to give it to the enemy. We have come to the condition where we love our enemies more than ourselves. We want to dress like the enemy. We want to eat like the enemy. We want to live like the enemy. We are now praying to the enemy. We are worshiping the enemy, mighty ones. We have turned away from our Redeemer and Savior. We have turned from him, and now we are in the hand of our enemy. The message is, my brother and sister, the day has come. And for you who refuse to separate yourselves, you will perish with the enemy. And will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of you. You would have to go and work for the enemy. You wouldn't have to look for a job. It's coming and it's here. It has begun. We are now seeing the tip of the iceberg. But it's here. It has begun. But they shall serve I, the Redeemer, and David the King, whom I will raise up unto us. Let's go back to verse 8, my brothers and sisters. And I repeat, for it shall come to pass in that day, says I of hosts, that I will break the yoke from our neck, and I will burst the bonds, the bond that we have with them, to work for them, to make them rich, to make them happy. Everything they should be doing for themselves, we are doing it for them. I is going to break that bond. And we will not serve them anymore. We will not serve them anymore. The strangers, we will not serve them anymore. But we shall serve I, our Redeemer, and David, our King, who I will raise up unto us. My dear brothers and sisters, I have promised us one from among us. He promised us David. Here he is telling us that he will raise him up unto us. So we are to serve I-Cob, to keep his commandments. And David will be a ruler on the earth when he set up his rulership upon this earth. Now, my brothers and sisters, let me reaffirm this with you, that promise that was made. Let us go to the book of Isaiah chapter 9, and we will read from verse 6. And it reads, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. That son, that person has to run the government that I will set up upon this earth. He have to run that government. Let us see who is that son he's talking about. Because our brothers, some of our brothers and the heathen continue to tell us that this is JC, where his name is never mentioned. The Most High never left us in suspension. He have always made himself clear to us when he give us promises. In every promise he has given us, he has been truthful and fully clear into what he was saying to us. And even in this one, he has done the same thing. So let us read this. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor of the Mighty I-Cob, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So the one he is speaking to us here about, he will be called Wonderful. He will be called Counselor. He will be from I-Cob. He will be of I-Cob. He is coming to perform his duty as bestowed upon him by I-Cob, the Everlasting Father. And he will be the Prince of Peace. That person will be the Prince of Peace. Verse 7. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. When that government is set up upon the earth, there will be no end to it. It will be the only time when we as a people will experience peace and justice. My dear brothers and sisters, it is futile to seek peace and justice in the land of your enemy. I-Cob has promised us peace and justice in a land that he has provided for us, with a ruler who he promised will be king over us. And here he is explaining to us who is this person will be. He said, of his increase in his government and the peace there shall be no end. Upon the throne of David and upon his his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth and forevermore. And the zeal of I-Cob of hosts will perform it. I have just told you the one whom he has promised he will raise up unto us. He has just told you what his purpose will be. His duty will be to run the government of I-Cob on the earth. His duty would be to establish judgment and justice unto us. And unless that day comes, we are not to experience justice nor peace from our enemies. So now we go back to Isaiah chapter 30. And I will read over the last verse I read. It states, Jeremiah, but they shall serve I the Redeemer and David the King, whom I will raise up unto us. Now, my brothers and sisters, in context with Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7, now you know why I is saying here to Jeremiah that we will serve him and David. Because David will be the prince. David will be the one in the form of a man that will run the government of Ai. Because that government of Ai will be run with justice and peace. Something we cannot experience now. Some things we do not experience. We do not experience justice. We do not experience peace. And this is the one who Ai was speaking to when he says, unto us a child is born. Not no JC. JC hasn't brought us peace. JC hasn't brought us justice. JC brought us slavery and mayhem. No justice, no peace. Look at the world, my dear brothers and sisters. Do I need to say more? Let us continue. Now I will go in verse 10. Verse 10 of Jeremiah chapter 30. Therefore fear thou not, for my servant I-Cob, says I. I is now telling us we must not be afraid. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save you from afar, and your seeds from the land of the captivity. And you, Israel, shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and no one shall make us afraid. When I set up his kingship upon this earth, and he raised David up unto us to be our king, we will have no reason to be afraid. We will have no reason to be in despair. He will serve us with justice and with peace. Again, with justice and with peace. That's not JC, that's David. The very name you see in the passage I've read to you. You see the name David. And this is the one who I have promised he will raise up unto us. In Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 and 7, he told us about him. He told us he will bring one and set him up for us. In Isaiah chapter 30 verses 9, again he tells us, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. In Jeremiah chapter 30 verses 9, he have reminded us, and now he's showing us, he's actually telling us who is the one who is the one he has put there for us to seek after. He says, but they shall serve I, who is our Redeemer, and David our King, who I will raise up unto us. He is not no savior to us. He will be like a king, a ruler, to enforce the laws of I in justice and in peace. I will save us from afar. I will save Jacob's children from the land of their captivity, and shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and no one shall make us afraid. Verse 11, for I is with us, says our Redeemer, to save us. Although he will make a full end of all the nations. Verse 11. Although he will make a full end of all the nations where I have scattered us, he will not make a full end of us, but will correct us in measure, and will not leave us altogether unpunished. Here, my brothers and sisters, the Most High is telling us why it is a good day for us. Why he is saying, for that day is great, and there is no other day like it. Because that is the time when I will take those troubles that they lay upon us and put it upon them. That day is the day when he removes all these problems from us and start putting it on them. The stresses, the horrors, the fear. He will start putting it on them. And the message he sent to you from me today is that this day has come and it has begun. This has begun. Here he is telling us he will make a full end of them. Everywhere they took us. Everywhere we were scattered and they ill-treated us. Everywhere we was punished for no reason. Everywhere we was put down. Everywhere where we was discriminated against. I is saying to us, he will make a full end of them. But he will not make a full end of us. But he is saying to us, he will not leave us unpunished. That's what Ayah says to us. Continue in verse 12. Our bruise is incurable. Our wound is grievous. Our bruises is incurable, and our wound is grievous. We are hard-headed. We refuse to listen. We refuse to want to hear. We refuse to want to know. This is our bruises. And our wound, the wound that we have received, is grievous. So what should we do then? Now is your time to turn to Allah and his commandments. Now is your time to call on his name. Now is the time to praise him. Now is the time to withdraw yourself from idol worship. Now is the time to expel from your soul all manner of lust. The day has come. He told Jeremiah to write it in a book. I am reading it out of the book to you. The message is, the troubles of I-Cob has begun. Verse 13, there is none to plead your cause. In 12, he told you your bruise is incurable and your wound is grievous. There is none to plead your cause, that thou may be bound up. No one to call for bandages for you. No one to go for you to go and clean your wound. You has no healing medicine. For you, there is no healing medicine from the nations. To you, EZER-IAH, to you, EZER-IAH, there is no healing medicine for you from your enemies. There is no healing medicine for you from JC. He did not die for you. He cannot heal you. The only one who will heal you, you are not calling on him. You are not seeking him. And he's telling you he will not leave you unpunished. Verse 14. All your lovers have forgotten you. They do not seek you. For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy. Since you have chosen to do what I tell you, you must not do. You have become an enemy to I. So now I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy. The very wound he is now saying he will put upon those who have wounded you. You yourself now will receive part of that wounding, because you have turned away from I and have gone after the heathens and their idols. With the chastisement of a cruel one, he is giving you the full measure. As he will give to the enemy, he is now giving you the full measure. You who hard-headed, refuse to listen, would not inquire of your Redeemer, wouldn't call his name, don't even care if he exists. You who breathe his air and drink his water and eat his food. You who speak with his voice that he give you. You who breathe the air he breathed in you. You who walk with the strength he put in you, with all that he has given you. I is telling you, it has begun. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because your sins were increased, you continue to increase your transgressions. You continue to increase your transgressions. He's telling you why he's doing this to you. Why cry thou thine affliction? Why are you crying in your affliction when you choose it? Why are you crying when you meet your destruction, when you have chosen the path to destruction? Your sorrows is incurable for the multitude of your iniquities. Your sorrows is incurable. Day out, day in, you praising idols. Days out, days in, you worshiping idols. Days in, days out, you go after your lust that is in your heart. Day in, day out, You hear the voice speaking to you and you would not attend unto it. Day in, day out, you continue to be ignorant and dumb. I is telling you, the day has come and it has begun. I'm only giving you a message. He says the day has begun. The time that he told Jeremiah to write these things for in a book, the day has come. So that you will look around you and read your book and see if it's here. My dear brothers and sisters, wake up. Your day has come. Continue. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto you. Because you continue in your sinful way, I has done these things unto you. He has not forgiven you, and he will not leave you unpunished. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah is giving us a last promise. He's telling us to wake up. He's telling us to look around us. He's telling us to shake ourselves. He's telling us to read his book. He's telling us to call out his name. He's telling us to keep his commandments. He's telling us the time is close if we want to receive his promises. Verse 16. Therefore all they that devoured thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be spoiled, and all that prey upon you I will give for a prey. Here I is telling you, you need to turn to him, and he will do his work for you. He's saying to you, all those who have done you wrong, he will do them the same. He will move it from you. He will move your troubles from you unto them. He tells you, all those who devour you shall be devoured. All your adversaries, all them who was against you, every one of them shall go into captivity. As they brought you into captivity, they will go into captivity. He's telling you, all of them who have spoiled you, all of them who have destroyed you, all of them who have taken you up as spoil, as possession, all of them who have done that to you shall be a spoil. And all that preyed upon you, I will give them as a prey. All them that have done these things to you, I is telling you, in this time now, this time that is started here, my brothers and sisters, this time that is begun, I is going to start removing those stresses. He's going to start removing all these things from us unto them. We have to praise Allah. We have to call his name. We have to keep his commandments. We are not to worry about what they are doing to us. Open your eyes and see what Allah is doing to them. Listen, my brother and my sister. Listen. You have not tried it, so now try what I'm saying to you. His name is Allah. Keep his commandments. Study your book. The Bible, that's your book. Read your book. Right now, I am reading in Jeremiah chapter 30, and I'm in verse 16. I is telling you, you need to start listening to him. You need to turn to him. You need to sing his praise. You need to glorify him. You need to keep his commandments. And he will remove this from you unto them. He is now saying to you, he has begun to do it. The time has come. From the time he told Jeremiah to write this, the day has just begun. It has just begun. Let's go to verse 17. For I will restore health unto you, and I will heal you of your wounds. I said so. They have called you an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seek after. They know who you are. I is telling you they know who you are. And when they see you, they say, yeah, that's the Hebrew Israelite. But there's nobody to look out for him. There's nobody to seek after them. Nobody to help them. I is telling you exactly what they are saying. I is now telling you, revealing to you what is in their minds. Your Redeemer is now revealing to you what is in your enemy's mind. The same enemy you want to hold on to. The same enemy just told you he will make a full end of them. And you and I, he will judge among us. Because those of us who are following their ways will perish with them. Listen to the word that I is saying to you. He has just told you he will restore health to you. He will make you strong again. I is just telling you he's going to cause you to prosper in this season, in this time. I is telling you he's going to visit you. He's going to give you the opportunity to hear his name. He's going to give you the opportunity. Someone will tell you to study his word. You're going to hear it. You are to accept it and do it. You are to remove yourself from the false doctrines that are there. You are to remove yourself from the churches and the false pastors. Those that are plastered with untempered mortar and lie to you. Study the word in your book. Listen to hear the voice of I-Ah. Listen, my brothers and sisters. Verse 18. Thus says I-Ah, behold, I will bring again the captivity of I-Cob tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built up on her own heap, and the places shall remain after the manner thereof. I is saying to us, he is going to bring us back. He's going to take us out of captivity. All the house of Israel. He's going to bring us back. All those who seek him in this time. All those who ask for repentance. All those who come clean. All those who ask for mercy. And he will bring us back into the land. And we're going to clean up the land. And on the very foundation where his house was built, we're going to build that house right back on the same foundation. And the city shall be built upon her own heap. her own foundation, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof. It will come back just the way it was supposed to be. It will come back just the way it was. Just the way it was. We're going to build nothing new, no new foundation. We're going back. I.I.H. is bringing us back to the same foundation. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving. My dear brothers and sisters, how could we go back there calling on all these Babylonian names and praising the Most High? How could we go back there with all these Babylonian names? How could we go back there with idol names? How could we go back there worshiping demons? How could we go back there worshiping Lucifer? How could we go back there being Catholic? How could we go back there being Pentecostal? How could we go back there being Jehovah's Witness? How could we go back there being Mohammedan? How could we go back there being all these Jews? How could we go back there being those things? My dear brothers and sisters, we only could go back there when we know the name of the Most High and we call on His name and keep His commandments and hope for His promise. And He is saying to us, and out of them, because He is telling you He will not leave us all unpunished. So it's not all of us going back there. It's those who come out from among the nation, those who give up idolatry, those who give up all the names of blasphemy. These are the ones that will proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. We're going to be singing His name. We're going to be singing His praise. We're going to be singing to I-Cob, the Almighty, the one who gave us His name and said, "This is my name forever, throughout all generation." And I-Cob will multiply us, and we shall not be few. And I-Cob will glorify us, and we shall not be small. I-Cob will multiply us. He's going to give us children. He's going to give us strength. He's giving us a king. He's giving us an army. He's going to give us rulership. He is the one that will prepare for us. Who is the army He's giving us? Is this an army with guns and swords? No. He's giving us an army of priests. We are the nation of priests. We are the people of the book. And our army is like the army of I-Cob. With His name, we will overcome. With His name, we go break down the wall of Jericho. With His name, we go break down all our colonial masters. With His name, we will overcome. Their children also shall be as aforetime. Before they took us like slaves, before they drive us out of the Holy Land, we're going to come back to the same amount of people we were. We're going to increase. We will increase. And the congregation shall be established before who? Before I-Cob. And I-Cob will punish all that oppress them. I-Cob is going to establish us before Him. And at that time, He will be punishing all those who punished us, who oppressed us. But my dear brothers and sisters, we have to make the step forward to I-Cob. We have to do this. Verse 21. And our nobles shall be of ourselves. Our nobles, our king, go be from us. Our governors go be from us. Our doctors go be from us. Our teachers go be from us. Our educators go be from us. I is not bringing any stranger to rule over us anymore. So you who love the enemy, you might stay with the enemy. You're not going there. Because I doesn't want you to hate yourself. You who hate your black skin. You who hate your complexion. You're not going there. Stay with the enemy and perish with them. Because I, our Redeemer, is going to establish us as a mighty people once more. I is going to raise up our dry bones. We're going to stand up as a mighty army. We're going to rule the world again. Through the power of I, the dominion of I, and the leaders he will give us, and the priests he will establish unto us, and the spirit he will establish in our hearts. We will rule this again. The time of the Gentiles is coming to an end. The message to you today is the time of our troubles being transferred to our enemies has begun. Open your eyes as of you hear this message and look around you and see what Aya is doing. Again, the message to you today is Aya has begun, the time has come, and Aya has begun to fulfill the promise that he has made unto us. He has begun to transfer our troubles unto our enemies. And their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. And Aya will cause us to draw near, and he shall approach, we shall approach unto Aya. My dear brothers and sisters, Aya is telling us what we have to do. He is going to cause us to draw near. He's going to cause us to hear his name. He's going to cause us to hear his commandments. He's going to cause us to know his promises he has made unto us. And when we know this, when he do that to us, we have to approach him. He says, and he shall approach him. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto Aya? He is looking to see who is engaging their hearts to make the approach unto him. Says Aya. Aya is now saying to you, he is watching to see, he is looking at all those who is putting in their heart that they need in their intellect. All those who are registering in their intellect, I need to know my Redeemer. I need to call on the name of my Redeemer. I need to keep the commandments of my Redeemer. The one who redeemed my ancestors out of the land of Egypt. The one who have claimed them to be his own. The one who fed them in the wilderness and gave them drink in the dryness. In their heart, in their intellect, they will began to want to seek Aya. He said so. He says, 22, and you shall be Aya's people. We will be his people. And Aya will be our Redeemer. 22. So when we proceed and engage our hearts to go unto Aya, when he touches us with his spirit, when he allows us to hear these words, when he approaches us with his spirit, and we feel the need to turn to him, and we go in this book and start to read it and comprehend it, and we start keeping his commandments, and we ask for forgiveness, I will forgive us. And he will draw us near. And he says here in 22, he will say, this is my people. I will say, this is my people. And I will say, I am your Redeemer. He will see us as his people, and he will step up to us. Behold, the whirlwind of I-Cob goes forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. 23. He's telling you, he just tell you what he will do for you, and he's reminding you here again. You who hard-headed, who does not want to change, he's telling you his whirlwind goes forth with fury. It's a continuing whirlwind. You will be destroyed. You who believe in a man, you who calling down on Jesse, you who calling down on Muhammad, don't you see you are wrong? Don't you hear the word of I-Cob? Don't you hear what he's saying to you? What he's telling his prophet Jeremiah to write down in a book for you? He tell him, write it in a book for you. And now he's telling you the days come. This, what he's telling you here, has begun. It has begun. You believe it, you believe it. You don't believe it, you don't believe it. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the message. It has begun. Verse 24. The fierce anger of I-Cob shall not return until he have done it. The words that gone out in I-Cob's mouth will not diminish until what he says is completed. It must be completed. Whatever he says must be completed. And until he have performed the intent of his heart. I is not saying anything to us and just speak loose words. I is perfect. His words is perfect. Put your heart on every one of them, and then none will fail you. Here he's saying that none of his words shall be diminished until all his intent is completed. In the latter days you shall consider it. So he is telling Jeremiah, in our time, right now, the message is, it has begun. He was telling Jeremiah, in the later days, we shall consider it. Not Jeremiah, we have to consider it. I'm telling you, he has given the message. And the message is, I-Cob's trouble has begun. I will now go into chapter 31, and I begin. At the same time, says I-Cob, will I-Cob, our Redeemer of all the families of Israel, and they shall be his people. In that time that I-Cob has begun here, he has started to make his family one. He's putting the two sticks together. He's making us one nation. I-COB has begun in forming one nation unto himself. He will then bring us back from Judea and Israel and make us one nation. And he will call us his people. Those who seek him, those who want to be his people, those who choose to be his people. I-COB will be our redeemer. Thus says I-COB, the people who were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness. The people who was left after the sword found grace in the wilderness. You who are alive, you who have the opportunity to praise I-COB, you who now come in the time of this knowledge, of this wisdom and this comprehension, you who have come now when I-COB pour his spirit upon you, you now have the opportunity to praise I-COB. I-COB went to cause him to rest. I-COB is now preparing us for our rest. I-COB is now removing from us our labor. I-COB is now removing from us our stresses. I-COB is now transferring our troubles onto our enemies who troubled us. I-COB is now transferring our troubles onto those who troubled us. I-COB has appeared old unto Jeremiah, saying, You have I loved thee with an everlasting love. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. All of you, all of us who turn to I-COB, I-COB is welcoming us. He is welcoming us with this phrase. Here he is saying it to you. He says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness, I have drawn you. He is telling us, all those who he says will seek in our heart to seek after I-COB. He is the one who is drawing us. And when we come to him, he is welcoming us. He is saying to us, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness, I have drawn you. That's verse 3 in chapter 31 of Jeremiah. Verse 4. Again, I will build thee. What is he saying? He will build you up. He will strengthen you up. He will give you all the things you was missing. And thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shalt go forth in the dance of them that make merry. You will be able to dress again. You will be able to be merry again. Not in the form that you are doing now in this Sodom and Gomorrah, but with joy and loving kindness, with mercy and peace, in harmony and love, without fear. You will walk the streets again. You will talk to your brother again. You won't be afraid of anyone again. You would not. Verse 5. Thou shalt you plant vines upon the mountain of Samaria. The planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. There shall be a day that the watchmen upon the mountain of Ephraim shall cry, Arise you, let us go up to Zion, unto I-Cob our Redeemer. He's going to plant back vegetables on the mountains. We go eat and be satisfied. We will call one another, let's go to Zion. Let's go praise I-Cob. For thus says I-Cob, sing with gladness for I-Cob, and shout among the chief of the nation. Publish you praise, praise, and say, O I-Cob, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Save thy people, the remnant of Israel. My dear brothers and sisters, I-Cob is speaking to us in these very words that he has given unto Jeremiah to preserve for us. Verse 7. Verse 8. Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travel, with children together. A great company shall return. A great company shall return. They shall come with weeping and with supplication. They could come crying. Could you imagine going back to Jerusalem, knowing that your Redeemer has crippled your enemies, your Redeemer has destroyed your enemies, and he has brought you back into the land that he promised your fathers? Could you imagine your state? Could you imagine the condition you will be in? The joy, the happiness. Could you imagine it? I imagine every day. I pray to be in that number. I pray every day to be in that number. They shall come with weeping and with supplication. I-Cob will lead us. I-Cob will cause us to walk by the river of water in a straight way, wherein we shall not stumble. I-Cob is the father of Israel, and Ephraim his firstborn. Verse 10. Hear the word of I-Cob, O you nations. Declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather Israel and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. I-Cob has redeemed us. I-Cob has ransomed us from the hand of him that was too strong for us. Verse 12. Therefore we shall come and sing in the height of Zion. We have to go back and sing on the Mount of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of I-Cob, for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and of the herd. And the soul shall be as a watered garden. We will be happy. We'll be at peace. Our souls will be like a watered garden. We ain't gonna look frail and dry up like prunes. We're gonna look good. We'll be looking good. I-Cob will water us. And they shall sorrow any more at all. We shall not sorrow any more at all. That's why, my brothers and sisters, we have to take what's happening to us We have to know why it's happening to us. We have to call on I-Cob, keep his commandments, and wait for his promises. Verse 13. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy. I will turn our mourning into joy. This is the message he's given us today. It has begun. I has begun to change the system. Let us rejoice today. I has begun to change the system. He will remove our troubles and put it on those who troubled us. I will comfort us and make us rejoice from our sorrow. Our sorrow will be gone unto our enemies. We will be able to rejoice and be glad. I is doing this for us. No JC, no Jehovah, no Yahweh, no Yahuwah, no Muhammad, no Yahweh. I is the one doing this for us. And I will satiate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, says I. Says I. No JC. I, our Redeemer. Our Redeemer. Verse 15. Thus says I, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. Rachel is weeping for her children. The land is waiting for us. The land is mourning and crying. He wants his children back. Rachel is weeping for her children. Because they were not. We are not in the land. We are not around her. She is weeping for us. Thus says I, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thy eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded. Thy work shall be rewarded. My brothers and sisters, I is speaking to us. He says, our work shall be rewarded. We have to keep his commandments. Lucifer has an army on the face of the earth as we speak. Lucifer and his army is telling our people that the commandments are done away with. Lucifer is indoctrinating our people with the false doctrine that we are not to keep no commandments because our work will value us nothing. Here our Redeemer is saying, refrain from thy tears, for thy work shall be rewarded, says I. And all shall come again from the land of the enemy. All of us who trust in I and call on his name, all of us who keep his commandments, we will leave the land of our enemy. Those who don't will not leave the land of this enemy. Those who refuse I will not leave this land of the enemy. Those who continue to worship their idols will not leave this land of the enemy. Those who continue to reject I and his commandments will not leave this land of the enemy. I says so. Verse 17. And there is hope in thy end, says I. that thy children shall come again to their own border. There is hope in the end. We will go back to our own land. There is hope for us. We will go back to our own land. And if we don't go back in the flesh, our children will. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself. Thus has chastised him. I was chastened. He was chastened as a bullock, unaccustomed to the yoke. That was done to Ephraim. Turn thou me, and I shall turn, for thou art I, my Redeemer. So Ephraim is asking Aya to turn him around. Ephraim is asking Aya to turn him around. Who is Ephraim? Ephraim is the firstborn. He is the tribe of EZER-IAH, the northern tribe. Ephraim is mentioned here as the northern tribe. He is asking to be turned around. Surely after that, he was turned. He repented. And after that, he was instructed. He was smote upon thy thigh, was ashamed, even confounded, because did bear the reproach of thy youth. He remembered the wrong things he had done. He asked for forgiveness. He was whipped. He was punished. But he asked for forgiveness. I have turned him around. I have forgive him. My dear brothers and sisters, that's all we have to do. We do not have to believe in no blood shed by no man for us. We don't have to believe in no son came and died for us. We have to go back to the commandments of I-Cob. We have to turn back to his laws. Verse 19. Surely after that he was turned and repented, and after that was instructed, and smote upon thy thigh. He repented, he was instructed, he was whipped, he was ashamed, he was confounded, because he bare the reproach of his youth. He kept remembering the wrong things he did, but he is sorry and he's asking for forgiveness. Verse 20. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I have speak against him, I earnestly remember him still. Therefore I bowed out troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, says I. I does not turn away any one of us, regardless to what we do. When we go to him and ask for forgiveness, and we mean it, and we wouldn't do it again, and we start studying his word, going into his commandments, building our intellect with his words and his promises, calling on his name, I will have mercy upon us. Verse 21. Set thee up waymarks, make thee high heaps, set thine heart towards the highway, even the way which thou wentest. O turn again, O virgin of Israel, turn again to these cities. Turn, my dear people, turn from all your ways. Start listening, start paying attention. Turn all your ways. 22. How long will you go about backsliding, daughter? For I has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Thus says I of hosts, I of Israel, as yet they shall use this speech in the land of Judea and in the cities thereof. There will be more men, there will be more women than men. It happened long time ago. When I shall bring again the captivity, I bless thee, O habitation of justice and mountain of holiness. Who is the habitation of righteousness and holiness? You, Israel. You. But you are giving your glory to idols. You like to pray, you're praying to idols. You like to worship, you're worshiping demons. Turn from your way. Seek your Redeemer. Know who you should pray to. Know who you should worship. Turn. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Read your book. Keep your commandments. That's all you have to do. There shall 24. There shall dwell in Judea itself, and in all the cities thereof together, husbandmen, they that go forth with flocks. For I have stated the weary soul. I have put you now at ease. I have replenished every sorrowful soul. I has now given us strength and water. He has shown mercy on us. Upon this awaken. When you are awakened and beheld, and my sheep was sweet unto me. When you awaken, that's when you turn to I-Cob, my brother and sister. Not when you continue praying to JC and Yahweh and this and all these Babylonian names that came to us to the Babylonian Talmud. No, we have to go to the name he gave unto Shemaiah to bring unto us when we were in Egypt. That mighty name that he says, I am I-Cob, and this is my name forever and my memorial to all generation. This is what we have to remember. That is what we have to call, my dear brothers and sisters. And it shall come to pass, I have just said to you, in verse 26, he says, upon this he is awakened and beheld. So upon you he has awakened. He has awakened you. He has beheld you. You is his sheep, and you have to be sweet unto him. Verse 27, behold, the days come. He's telling you the day was to come. Well, now the day has come. He has sent his message to you today to let you know the day has come, says I-Cob. That I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judea with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck them up and to break them down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, says I, our Redeemer. As he has punished us and driven us away, has scattered us to the ends of the earth, so he will take the same determination to bring us back together, to make us one nation. I have said this. Verse 29, in those days they shall say no more, the father have eaten sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. In that time, we are not to say that our fathers have done wrong, so we are punished. We are being punished for what we are doing today. I is saying this to us. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Forget those who telling you that Jesse came and died for your sin. See what I is saying to you here. The same thing he told Jeremiah to put in a book for you. He says, everyone shall die for his own sins. Every man that eat the sour grape, his teeth shall be on edge. You commit your sin, you will pay for it. Give up the false doctrine, my dear people. Give up the false doctrine that has caused us to reach so low. Verse 31. Behold, the days come, says I, that he will make a new covenant with the house of EZER-IAH. I is saying to us that day is coming when he will make a new covenant with us. Here is the new covenant. Let us see what he says he will do for us. And with the house of EZER-IAH and with the house of Judah, he will be making a new covenant. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, the heathens say that the new covenant was the death of Jesse. Well, let us see what I is saying to us about the new covenant. Let us see if the name Jesse is mentioned. Let us see if Yeshua is mentioned. Let us see if any of those names that they are calling on is mentioned. But here let us read what I is saying to us. And we begin in verse 32. Not according to the covenant that I have made with our fathers in the day that he took us by the hand to bring us out of the land of Egypt. The covenant he is making with us is not like the one he made with us when he brought us out of the land of Egypt, which the covenant they break, because they broke his covenant that he made with us when we took us out of the land of Egypt. When we said, all that you say we will do. He spoke to us. That's all he did to us in the land when he took us, when he brought us on Mount Horeb. He spoke to us, and our ancestors said, yes, we will do all that you say. We will do it. And then Moshe sprinkled the blood on them. That was the covenant they made. So it was made with words. That covenant was made by words. Here I is saying he go make a new covenant with us. Not like that covenant. Not like the one he made with us. The one that our ancestors broke. Although I was a husband unto them, says I. Although he was unto us as a husband, he was providing all their needs in the wilderness. He was providing all their needs when he took them out of the land of Egypt, as a husband provides for his family. But this shall be the new covenant. This shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of EZER-IAH after those days. When we turn to I, we start calling on his name. When he starts removing our troubles and putting it on our enemies, this is the covenant that he is making with us. This is what will happen. He says, I will put my law in the inward parts. The very law the false preachers are telling you is done away with. The very law that they are telling you that we do not have to keep anymore. The very law that they are telling you that will profit you nothing. That very law, I hear is saying the new covenant will be that law. He will put it in our hearts. Do you see why they does not want you to read your book? Do you see why they does not want you to study the word of I? That's the reason why they will give you the New Testament, the book of Lucifer, the New Testament, the book of your enemies. That's what they will give you to read day in and day out, year in and year out. They will not give you the word that I, your Redeemer, has given his prophets to bring unto you. But they will give you the words that the anti-Messiah has given his disciples to bring out into the world. And we have to reject this. He says, he will put his law in your heart, in your inward parts, in your intellect, and write it in your heart, and will be your redeemer, and they shall be his people. When he put his law in your heart, he will then become your redeemer, and you will be his people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, because I will be teaching you himself. He will pour out his spirit upon us, and we all will seek to know him. And every man his brother, saying, know I, for they shall all know him. All those that are going back into that land will know I. All those that are going back into that land will know I. From the least of them unto the greatest of them, from the smallest to the oldest, from the poorest to the richest, all will know his name, says I. For I will forgive their iniquity. That's those who ask for forgiveness. And I will remember their sins no more. Those who ask for forgiveness, not those who saw man come and die and shed his blood for their sins. No, you don't see this here. You don't see this is mentioned anywhere here. I is telling you from his own words what you have to do. You have to ask for forgiveness, and I will forgive you. Verse 35, thus says I, who give the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night. He is telling you who he is. He is telling you, so you make no mistake to think this is JC speaking. Then you make a mistake and think it's someone else speaking. He's telling you, he is the one who made the sun. He is the one who made the moon. He is the one who made the stars. He is the one who divided the sea. He is the one who calmeth when it roar. He is I of hosts is his name. I of hosts is his name. 36. If those ordinances depart from before I, says our Redeemer, then the seed of Israel also shall cast from being a nation before him. The only how we could cease from being Aya's people, Aya's children, is if the moon don't exist, the sun doesn't exist anymore. If all these things could disappear, then, only then, the possibility might exist that we would not be his children. So from generation to generation, Aya is seeking a remnant. From generation to generation, Aya is seeking a remnant. He is building up his nation. He's searching for the right characters to put them in position. Aya is building up a government. He told us who will be the king already. He told us it will be David, the head. But he is looking for men to put in position. He is looking for sisters to put in position. Turn from idol worship and seek Aya, your Redeemer. Verse 37. Thus says Aya, your Redeemer, if heaven above can be measured, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath. If you as a man could measure the heavens, if you could search the foundation of the earth beneath, I will also cast off all the seeds of Israel for all they have done, says I. If you could measure the heavens, if you could search out the foundation of the earth, beneath the earth, then I will cast us off for all the wrong things we have done. And brother and sister, I don't think it's none that can do it. So I is telling you, he will never cast you away. Once you get to know his truth, once you could come to him and ask for forgiveness, I will never cast you away. Behold, the day come. Again, he's telling you the day is coming. Behold, the day come, says I, that the city shall be built to Ai from the tower of Hanael unto the gate of the corner. And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill of Gareb, and shall compass about to Gohath. And the whole valley and the dead bodies and of the ashes, whose bodies, whose ashes is in that valley? That is the ashes and the dead bodies of our enemies. Remember, he told us we're going to trample on the ashes and the bodies of our enemies. So their bodies will be in the valleys, and all the field unto the brook of Kedron, unto the corner of the house gate towards the east, shall be holy unto Ai. It shall not be plucked up, not thrown down anymore forever. So Ai has promised us, when he brings us back into that land, it will not be plucked up and it will not be broken down. Never again. Never again we will be taken out of this land. We was taken off to Assyria. We was taken off to Babylon. We was taken off to Egypt. We was taken off to the Western world. I is saying to us, when he brings us back, this day that has begun today, this day has begun. I emphasize to you, this day has begun. Ai has now begun to take our troubles off of us and transfer it onto our enemies. Our enemies will come more vicious. They will become more desperate. They will swim in their own blood. They will eat their own flesh, as they have lied to us, the children of Ai, by telling us we have to eat the blood, drink the blood, and eat the flesh of their false Lucifer. So too, Ai will give them their own blood to drink and their own flesh to eat. Ai will bring them in the valley and he will destroy them there. Ai will cause us, his people, those who seek him in spirit and in truth, with their whole heart, their whole soul, and with all their strength. Ai will bring us in safety. He will let us lie down in peace. He will raise up unto us David, a ruler, who will not just judge us by the sight of his eyes or by the things that he hears. but he will judge us in righteousness, in justice, and in peace, under the direction of I-Cob, our Redeemer, the Holy One of EZER-IAH. He is our Maker, He is our Redeemer, He is our Savior, He is our Father, He is all to us. We have to be obedient to Him. Hear His words. Attend unto His words. Seek Him before it's too late. And as a reminder to you, my brothers and my sisters who will hear this tape, I have sent out a message to you. He has said He has begun to remove our troubles and transfer it onto our enemies. So sit quiet. Glorify I-Cob, your Redeemer. Sing His praise. Call out His name. And look with your eyes. He has told us, only with our eyes we will see the reward of the wicked. Don't be dismayed. Don't be sorrowful. Don't mourn for your enemy. Don't cry for them. I-Cob is the one who is doing this. I-Cob is the one, the same one who put you into slavery, the same one who have caused all your punishment to be upon you, the same one who now promised to heal you, the same one who promised now to bring you back to where you should be, the same one who have passed you through the fire and through the water, the same one who have made you from the dirt, the same one who breathed His breath of life into you. He's telling you, stay firm and strong in Him. Call out His name and praise Him. Worship Him in spirit and in truth. Be obedient to every word that He speaks. Study His word He sent to you by His prophets. In the book, from Genesis to Malachi, from Genesis to Malachi, my brothers and sisters, my Hebrew Israelites, my Igbo brothers and sisters, listen to what I-Cob is saying to you and study His word. And remember the message He has sent to you today. All praise be to I-Cob. All praise be to I-Cob. I-Cob is great. I-Cob is great. I-Cob, your name is excellent in all the earth. In heaven and earth, we will praise your name. The host in heaven, with your sons, your daughters, your servants, and your witnesses upon the earth. I will witness before you. I know you will come. You will set up your sanctuary in our midst. We will be at peace. We will experience what happiness is. Praise be to I-Cob. All praise be to I-Cob. All praise be to I-Cob. I-Cob, be my shepherd, and let me never be in want. Make me to lie down in your green pasture. Lead me alongside your still waters. Restore my soul in your path of righteousness for your name's sake. And even though I shall walk through this valley, this shadow of death, let me fear no evil. Be with me. Let your rod and your staff guide and protect me. Shield me on every side. Prepare your table before me as long as I'm in this land of my enemy. Anoint my head with your holy oil. Make my head strong with wisdom, knowledge, and comprehension. And let my cup be filled until it overflows. Let your goodness and your mercies follow me all the days of my life, and prepare me, make me ready to be able to dwell in your land when you set up your sanctuary in the midst of my ancestors, with all your prophets you have sent before me. In the midst of Isaiah, Nehemiah, Hezekiah, Obadiah, Dan-iah, Shemaiah, Jeremiah, let me in the midst of my elders, those that was before me. Oh, I am my Redeemer. Hear my plea and answer me. Answer me, Ayah. Answer me. I thank you. I thank you, Ayah. I thank you for everything. I thank you for all my brothers and sisters around the world. I thank you. I thank you for the health, the strength. I thank you. I thank you for the protection of all your people, your beloved ones. I thank you. I thank you for sending your holy watchers to watch over us and fueling our lamp and our light being shine in this dark place. I thank you. I thank you, Ayah, for everything. I thank you for being there for us, for carrying us, knowing that you will deliver us. We hope in your words. We hope in your promises. We will call your name, for we will hear you. You will answer us. Oh, Ayah, my Redeemer and Savior. All praise be to Ayah. All praise be to Ayah.